We all handle pain and trauma so differently, like vastly differently. And because people act differently, it makes it really difficult for us to recognize how others, or how we interact with others, and recognize their own pain. Because sometimes we just think they're being asses. Like, it's easy to say, God, Kevin was a rude ass to me today, but they just didn't understand what happened to me 10 minutes ago, or vice versa with y'all. Yeah, and guys are real different. Like, each man handles pain really differently. Like, some of us go into a closet and cry. Some of us sit and just try to, like, God, where's my life going? What am I doing? How is this affecting me? Some guys just laugh. They just laugh it off. Like, I got a good friend of here sitting with me now. Like, his mechanism is laughing. Some people, like Ricky, he wants to explode, because we all handle our emotions so vastly different. So whenever, when Ricky's pissed off, because Ricky's like, man, what's wrong with these people? But he's gotten a lot better at it now. Matt, you never know if he's upset or not, because he's always telling a joke. He's always covering it up. And me, I don't know which one I am, because I kind of get quiet. I'm more thoughtful. I want to figure out whatever the issue is. Woo, we're getting some rain. And women are the same way. I think most women have all of them all the time. Most women, all of a sudden, they can be yelling, they go to crying, and all of a sudden they can laugh, and then, they can do everything in 10 minutes, which leaves us all kinds of confused. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on. and it makes it real difficult for men, too, to understand how to respond or how to react. Because we don't know. We only understand how we recognize and deal with pain. And because women are all over the place, well, I say women, I'm talking in general here. Not all women are like this, but there are a lot of women that just, you can't read. But we're all getting upset. We all get upset really easily. So we have to say, stop, breathe. If we can catch ourselves and recognize, okay, I don't know how this other person is recognizing what I'm doing. I don't know how they're going to respond to this action I'm doing. So I probably need to stop and breathe and get a hold of myself, so I can learn how to be the superhero of myself. Like, it is possible for us to be the emotional and spiritual superheroes for ourselves. It's kind of weird to think about, but I think that is very true, and that we can stand on the mountaintop inside of us and go, okay, I figured this out. I just caught myself being somebody a rational person would think was a total narcissist psychopath. Even though I'm not, but I could see how somebody could see me as that, because I acted that way. So how would they not think that I'm crazy? Because I just acted crazy. So how can they not? We have the ability, we have all the tools. Like, we have all the tools right in front of us all the time. We have the inner power to recognize patterns. We all have patterns. We have patterns from the time we wake up in the morning, how we start our day. We all do the same stuff. Most of us, we get a cup of coffee. We think, oh, golly, I am so annoyed. I got to go see these coworkers. I really don't want to get out of bed. To some people go, man, I'm excited to get up. Let's go. I'm a morning guy. It's all how we perceive life in our minds. So if we're dreading everything versus being real happy about everything, it changes our emotions. And that requires us to start considering and noticing our own patterns, because we all have them. And how do we respond to those experiences in our relationships? If your wife gives you a love note and you really don't like to read and you're not a Romeo, well, you just didn't care, and then you weren't considerate, and then all of a sudden that creates a spiral. Then all of a sudden you got one of those women who from smile, laugh, scream, and cry all at the same time. So we have to recognize the patterns in our life and how we are interacting with others, and what kind of cycles are we doing over and over and over again? What kind of people are we attracting in our life? Like if you continuously go through women, Matt, or if you continuously run through boyfriends, well, what are you attracting? What kind of boundaries are you setting for yourself that allow that kind of crap? Most people don't recognize it until they're way too old and way too late, and they've had a life of misery and lived a life of quiet desperation. Like, we have to recognize ourselves and our own patterns. And if y'all don't know this, we're very different. I think I got a roof leak. The men and women are crazy different, because guy can go, I got patterns. I don't know. You know, it's pretty easy. You can look at a 25-year-old and a 50-year-old, and both of them kind of do the same thing. What kind of patterns is this guy talking about? I don't know. It's because nobody really ever looks at themselves. But you can look at some thoughtful women, because there's a lot of them, especially when they're 50 and older. They can start to recognize themselves and be a lot more thoughtful about how they are in their own life. And as we reflect, there's a real big trap, because we can start to look at these patterns and we go, I act this way because of that person. I'm this rude and I snap because they treat me like that. So we start putting the blame on everybody else, and we never consider how we are responsible for ourselves. These are our patterns. These are how we react. I'm not going to get upset if Kevin comes over here and just starts yelling at me for no reason. I'm going to be like, damn, Kev, you okay? But a 25-year-old me might go, hey, pal, what are you doing? And we might want to go fisticuffs, because I never started looking at those patterns. But luckily, you kind of start looking at patterns. And it's easy to say, we've all heard this, just go walk in that guy's shoes for a while. Go walk in Matt's shoes, and so you know why he has girlfriends. So if you don't walk in those shoes, you don't understand why those things happen. If you don't go walk in that other person's shoes and go, wow, I understand now, when I start to place myself in their position and how the world is interacting with them and how they are interacting with the world. It helps you find some empathy, but damn, that's really hard to do. Like, it's really difficult. Like, I can look at Kev out here all day long, but man, if I don't understand every aspect of your life, it is really difficult for me to have some real understanding and empathy by trying to walk in your shoes if I don't practice that art. And no matter what, we don't have windows into the souls of everybody. I see Ricky almost every day, and I love Ricky, and there's no way in the world I'm going to know everything about him. I don't know what exactly is he thinking. I can feel that something is good or bad or indifferent, but I can't see into his mind. I can't see into his heart. And that's with everybody. It doesn't matter if it's your brother, sister, wife, whoever. So we have to always realize we don't know everybody we think we know. We don't know exactly what happened to them 10 minutes ago. So we might want to just go slow. Stop. Take a breath. And once we find empathy, then we have to deal with our own inner struggles. Then we see what's happening with our good friend and why they're not calling us or ghost us or whatever. And then we think, well, all right, how do I deal with this with me without being mad at them? Because that's their own issue. However, they just treated me as wrapped up in them. But unless I did something really offensive to them, then that's on them. But I'm allowing their energy to shoot over to me, mess up my day, and I think about them all day. That son of a bitch did not call me back. They did not text me. We were supposed to meet. Well, that's on them. It has nothing to do with me. unless I did something to them. And that's why we have to recognize our own patterns. Most of us just mask it up. And not the other kind of masking. We mask it up. We want to cover it up. What are we covered up with? Everything. Laughing at everything, being indifferent or quiet, Noah just ghosting people or ignoring them. We all have it. We all have some kind of mask that we put on. My wife will get quiet and just kind of walk off from me. Is that her mask? I don't know. Maybe she's like, screw you, I want to talk to you. Yeah, I don't know. We all have them. And if we don't recognize those patterns, how are we ever going to have real communication? I mean, we can pretend to drink it away, eat it away, laugh it away, yell it away. We can pretend, but what does that do? All this anxiety is still eating everybody. You can go anywhere in this country, and almost everybody you see has some type of major anxiety problem. Like everybody. I don't know anybody who doesn't. Like either you've screwed up your health, your relationships are all screwed up, you have accidentally just cheated on your wife 10 times. You know what happened? You know, something bad. So if we don't deal with this inner anxiety in a healthy way, what are we doing to ourselves? We're creating more anxiety. We're creating more problems. We're not solving the issues. You're like, oh, damn, I'm broke. I am so broke. But you have a whole bunch of opportunities to do stuff, and then you never do them, and then you say, well, I'm still broke. It's strange. How does all of this anxiety and craziness that we try to run from and mask manifest itself everywhere? It manifests in crappy relationships, no communication, friends that you can't count on. We got to figure out how to let that stuff go. Like, get it out of us. Who wants it? Like, it's really our decision. Everything, every day. We can either focus on solutions to the stuff that's happening in our life, or we can just choose chaos. We can just choose. I think I would rather have this craziness than figure out a nice solution and path. I'd rather just talk crap all day long. I'd rather just bash this person because it makes me feel good. I'd rather tell everybody and everybody I know that guy's an asshole because he just screwed me. But why? You're just choosing to relive this crap over and over and over and over again. So it's our decision. We have to recognize these patterns. We have to catch ourselves. Like, it's easy to say, catch yourself. But can you? I mean, can you see the own negativity in your own life? Can you see how you repeat things over and over and over again? Can you see that you talk about shit that is crazy nonstop? Like, it's one thing if me and Noah have a problem out here and all of a sudden we talk about it as men and we work it out. It's a different thing if you talk trash all day, every day, nonstop. If you keep reliving your problems in a negative way, nonstop, pounding it into your brain, well, you're just screwing yourself. And catching yourself takes some practice. Like, it ain't easy. How are you going to change negativity? It sounds so easy. Oh, just change negativity. I don't think so. It requires a lot of work. How are you going to stop talking about negative things and keep reliving that and pounding that pattern deeper and deeper and deeper into your life? How are you going to stop bursting out in anger? How, like Ricky just wants to keep everything inside, and I do the same thing a lot of times. And to catch myself, like, I'll just want to ball it up and just suppress it, and then all of a sudden somebody can say something, and I'll be like, ah! And I'll go, oh, wait, okay, all right, I just exhausted that. That's too much. Has nothing to do with any of y'all, but it had everything to do with me. How do you stop being short with others? I got a bad problem with that. I get irritated. I see people, they're doing something I don't like. I don't enjoy them, and I'm just real fast. How do I stop that? And I'm talking about people that I really love. You're like, I do it with my mom all the time, which is a very bad attribute. My mom will call and say something. It's not that she's getting on my nerves. I'm just like, meh, bam, I got to go, Mom. I love you. Now, what am I going to do with my mom? I mean, she's a gorgeous woman at 71, and Noah has a crush on her. And so if you get, she's going to be 90 before I blink my eyes, and she's going to be gone, and I'm not going to be able to tell her, hey, Mom, damn, I wish I wasn't short like that. Damn, I wish I'd have really paid attention. But, I just got to catch myself over and over and over again. Now, this is really, really exciting because the brain gets wired in certain ways. And Joe Dispenza, if y'all don't know who he is, I highly recommend y'all looking Joe up. He is phenomenal. And just over and over and over again, they have proven that how we think and how we act is a wire. Like the way Ricky acts all the time, the way Matt acts, Noah, Kevin, and even Justin. Everybody acts this way, and we start to wire our brains in a certain way that's not going to change unless we start thinking differently and recognizing our own patterns. So neuroscience says that once we get into these routines, we're going to stay in those routines unless we start thinking differently to rewire our brain. That's fascinating. So your brain will continue with your own thoughts, your own emotions. You're going to continue to manifest all the same crap because that you're not asking yourself. When I have these outbursts, or Ricky gets mad, or gets quiet and then busts out later, or just keeps talking about negative crap over and over again. Well, we're just forcing those and strengthening those cycles in our mind. So we have to recognize it and stop it. We got to stop it for ourselves and our relationships and how we're going to live. We got to stop giving people the mirror image of what they give us. I mean, how difficult is that, Ricky? Because if somebody comes up to you or somebody comes up to me, I got a hard time if they're yelling at me without thinking, nah, it's time to roll, baby, but I don't want any trouble. How are we going to ever communicate with somebody by yelling back at them? I mean, Matt had a great experience, and we're not going to call him out again today. What makes a person think that you can go yell at them, and all of a sudden they're going to change their mind? Oh, wow. If I just happened to be a girl and I was in love with Kev out here, and I found out you don't love me anymore, and I just run up to you, Kevin Clemens, you're supposed to love me. Why don't you love me? Blah, blah, blah. Man, is that ever going to change your mind? Like, no way. Like, you're going to take off running as fast as you can. I thought we had something special, and just all this kind of crap. If they're pounding you, yelling, you're never going to listen. Ever. Like, the frequencies and the resonance don't even, you're just, nobody hears anything anybody says. So how do you communicate with somebody if you can't say, hey, I really want to talk to you about this issue, if you're willing to, and if you're willing, let's set up some rules. Let me talk, and when I'm finished, you can talk. I'd even suggest getting a notebook. Like, I got some issues, but only if that other person is willing and able and wanting to communicate with you. If they're not, you're never going to have any relationship or communication at all. You're wasting your time in the first place. You can just act like any number of Matt's ex-girlfriends that gets absolutely nowhere. just nowhere. I mean, these people should watch this video. You need to know how to communicate. And how do you think bitching about any circumstances over and over and over again makes anything different? It just doesn't. Bitching and moaning about anything, whether it's the lack of money, whether it's the lack of, oh, my business is struggling, whether, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Bitching and moaning only cements and strengthens those brain waves in your head. And that's all you're doing is creating that loop over and over and over again. So I just say try this instead. This is something that's helped me a lot over the past several years, and I'm definitely no expert at this. I'm definitely not on some pedestal that has it all figured out. But I am working on it. And you have to remind yourself that everything that you ever do in life, everything, everywhere, is always you're hanging out and you're having a conversation. No matter what you're doing anywhere with anybody, you're always hanging out and it's always a conversation. No matter if you're going to work with a coworker, whether you're going, everything is hanging out in a conversation. It's some type of communication. So if you can figure out how to communicate well with yourself and well with others, and figure out how to get on their frequency to communicate in a way that makes sense for both of you, that's great. And you have to set those boundaries. And if you don't set boundaries, well, you're going to run over each other. It'd be like me and Ricky trying to have a conversation, and everything that we say is, he's wrong, I'm wrong, and we both have to prove that we're right by yelling at each other louder. That's never going to work. So you have to recognize your own behavior. You have to. You have to stop. You have to breathe. You have to realize how to make these situations better. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to live in crap. Even if you're successful. Like most of my successful buddies, most of them are still pretty miserable. They're pretty successful in life and they're great. But man, a lot of them don't want to go home. A lot of them still feel empty. Like, come on, guys. Let's change these patterns in how we think in our mind. Now, what works for me? I really like laying down outside. I like laying down in the bed. I don't know why. I know y'all have seen these people. They do this little sit meditation stuff like this thing. I just think it's fun to hold my hands like this. I don't know if it has any significance whatsoever. I have read and seen where they say it helps keep your body energy in some kind of loop. I have no idea. But I do like to lay under the covers in my bed before I go to sleep and when I wake up in the morning. And the covers hold my hand. And Ricky goes, he likes to lay in bed. I'm calling him out. He likes to lay in bed and do this. See, that's his pattern. That's exactly what Ricky just did. And he can't break that pattern in his mind. Thanks, Ricky. But that is... I like to do it, and I like to take a couple of deep breaths, close my eyes, and then, when you lay in bed or you try to meditate, all these crazy thoughts come, like, oh, God, I got this bill to pay. Oh, I got to hurry up and go to work. I got to hurry up and take care of my kids, make lunches. I got to hurry up and do all these things. But if you just figure out with some practice how to quiet your mind, which is kind of hard. It was really, really hard for me at first. I might need to take lessons from Kev out here. If you can quiet your mind, and then try to imagine, use your imagination. We have all these tools from breathing to our imaginations, and go, I do feel the energies all around me. I do feel it. I want to be a part of it. I want to make myself commune with the universe. That takes a little practice, and after a little while, it becomes really calming. It becomes calming for me because I can feel it feels like my body's kind of disappearing and I'm just sinking in and I'm asking the universe to guide me, whether you call it the universe, the source, God, whatever. Ask it. Hey, just guide me a little bit, help me out. I want to start my day off with good intentions. I want to live better. I want to be in better health. And it's amazing how this works. It's just amazing if you talk to yourself and ask, hey out there, I'd like some help. Can you just help me? It's like a miracle. It is a miracle. It's crazy. And I love it. And there are a bunch more ways, and we'll be talking about them a lot. We talk about this stuff every Sunday. So if you like this, of course, come out here. We're here every Sunday at 1:30, so get here a few minutes early. And I appreciate you joining us.